indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first order of business, I want to go ahead and announce executive session regarding some pending legal issues we're talking about. Public comment period, any public comment here? Okay. Approval of the August 6th, 2025 meeting minutes. Ms. Fisher obviously is not with us today, she's out on the West Coast gallivanting for work. However, she did review and email us stating her approval of the minutes. Did you review yours?
Yes, I did, and I have no problems with them.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the August 6, 2025 meeting minutes.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Report, treasurer's report, Mr. Williser.
All right, for the treasurer's report this month, our financials continue to go along as we expected this year to date. To the bills list, our bills list this month is going to be less than it has been previously as we begin to watch our budget. The total for the bills list this month is $70,909.11.
All right.
Okay. And I looked at that, and I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $70,909.11.
Nice, second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Emergency services, Bill, you got the state police or
Monthly reports. Last month, the state police responded to 29 calls in the township. We'll go over nothing major.
Okay. That's always good.
Yes.
All right, we got Plymouth, anyone here from Plymouth? All right, so Plymouth, monthly total was 23. Frederick Living accounted for 11 of those. Year-to-date is 204, year-to-date for Fred Living is 91. Fire company activity, current events, Mr. Kenna, where's that? Mr. Sadler.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For people who don't know me, my name's Doug Penn, I'm the fire chief of the township. July monthly report, we ran a total of 21 calls, 8 hours and 2 minutes. Total calls for the year are 111. We have 54 hours and 20 minutes in service. The total volunteer hours for June were 402 hours, for a yearly total of 2,935. Just a couple things that were going on. We applied for a Nutella grant to try to get wash machine and dryer for the gear and everything, and we got turned down. We didn't make it. We have a CPR class coming up at the township, up at the firehouse to start recertify all the firefighters again. And just a note on fundraising. We went in cooperation with Moshe's Train Stop, and what it is on August 20th and 21st, anybody that goes to Moshe's to buy any food, if they mention the fire company will get a percentage of whatever you spent. So that's pretty much it for us.
Thank you, Mr. Kenna. Fire marshal's report, we got anything from Mr. Nate?
Yeah.
We did? What you got there, Bill?
The fire marshal report said he continued to work on various fire alarm issues in the township. Send information for distribution to township social media and website regarding the 911 outage that was back in July. Monitoring the weather, updating the emergency plan for Perkiomen Crossings wastewater treatment plant, working on the new emergency contacts. He's working on getting us set up for the Limerick drill that's coming up in November. And we had one small apartment fire in the township that he's following the investigation for.
Perfect.
That's it for fire marshal.
Did you get the water sewer from Miller, Mr. Aaron?
No, we did not.
Public Works Road Department. Seasonal mowing, township building, park, sewer plants. They've done some minor swale work on Houck and Heimbach. Seasonal road mowing, they're gonna begin in round 2, just to try and beat the heat. Township guide rails, begin repainting reflectivity. Monthly meter readings are gonna be coming up for those fellows as well. Roadside under drain, that's on Cass Road, they're Kraus Road, not Cass. They're working on some replacement over there, and some work orders as requested. Some equipment, they had to put some bushings and rollers in the road mower. The F350 inspection was performed. Chris Jones did our brakes, rotors in-house for us to help us save some money here. And the F750 dump inspection performed, that's biannual service, and that was also done in-house. And that's all I have for those fellows. Again, hard at work for Upper Frederick. Civils engineer report, Mr. Norm Ulrich.
Okay, LTL's updated the engineer's report for the month of August. Sent that out to the township, hopefully you've had a chance to look over it. I can answer any questions you might have. 2 items just to bring up that are either new to the report or there's been some progress and they're not an agenda item, are the, excuse me, the Dix Minor subdivision, which is a project located along Gravel Pike, just north of Crafts Road. They're currently single-family residences. The entire scope of the project was essentially a lot line change. The existing lot line was close to an existing driveway, and the neighbors agreed. They purchased some land, gave up some land, just to move the property line over a little bit to give them some elbow room. That's really, there's no construction, no new land development that's being proposed as part of this. It's just basically to get the plan more into compliance. LTL reviewed the plan and issued a first review letter dated 5/22 of this year. The plan was discussed at the July PC meeting where a conditional approval was recommended. Subsequent to that meeting, the plan was discussed at the August workshop BoS meeting where the plan was granted a conditional approval conditioned upon LTL's letter dated 5/22. So at this point, the outstanding items, we're working with the applicant's engineer to get those squared away so the plan can be recorded. Very simple project. Oh, I'm sorry. Also, the other item I was going to bring up, 3 Dog, as you see on Route 73, construction has started with that. And the project is under construction. It is for a private auto restoration facility. And at this point, really, like I said, they just got started over the past solid month. They've installed ENS controls, stripped topsoil. They've done some site grading. The basin construction is near complete. Stormwater pipe installation is started. Driveway construction has started. LTL will continue to monitor things out there, but I mean, the work's being done by the Myers Construction Group, and for the property owner, it's kind of like a poster child for how a construction project should be done. It's being done very well. So, you know, I wouldn't expect many other projects to go that well. It's really very nice. There's a couple of upgrades they've already done. When they put the storm pipe in, they put a continuous concrete cradle in there, and that weirdly wasn't even called for on the plans, but we're not gonna, if you wanna go over above and beyond what the plans require, that's all.
I saw that in the photos he sent.
Yep.
How about the water report? Did we get that back yet? We had a lot of residents calling about that.
Literally just got that. I think that was earlier today, I believe it was, or at least that I saw it. So we'll have to take a look at that, take a look at the language on the decision in order that is on the plans to make sure it's consistent with that. But I think the language is not very specific. It's basically just to determine a baseline. So I did look at one of the reports that were given, and they checked for a bunch of different of your harsher chemicals, and they stated what the limits are. But Beyond that, I really can't talk to it, because I really didn't get a chance to look at it very closely.
Right, but it was in compliance with what we require under our water quality.
Well, again, there isn't anything in our ordinance that really says that we need to, that what we require. So the fact that the decision order was somewhat general, it doesn't specifically state what they will need to test for. So we'll take a look at that and kind of see what you might normally expect to have concerns about with regards to painting or any type of chemicals that will be associated with auto restoration. And if for some reason we can see something in there that you really should be in there that is not, then we would kind of flag that. Also, we're gonna have to see the reports that were submitted, take a look at it on a property map and make sure, was everybody covered, you know, that kind of thing. So really, we have to look at that. However, it does state right on the plans that needs to be done and accepted by the township before a building permit is issued, and I've already instructed John Cuff that, you know, he has the plans, he's reviewed them, and they're being held until that's done satisfactorily before any building permits are issued.
Perfect.
So that water testing is a baseline then?
Exactly. The whole reason for that is if for some reason there's a resident 3-4 years from now, 3-4 months from now, that expresses some type of a concern, you've got something to start from.
Okay, that sounds good. One question on that, the stormwater, is that going down Perkiomenville on the same side of the road as the property is, or the other side? Is it coming under the road?
There is an
Swell, right
existing pipe that does cross under the road, but as per your ordinance, there will be less flow coming out of that basin than would get there in an undeveloped condition.
Okay.
Okay, your stormwater ordinance is something called a reduction ordinance. So from an existing condition for a 2-year storm, 5, 10, 25, 50, or 100, they will either match or reduce the flow coming off of that property to what's known as a point of interest, which is where an existing surface runoff would contour is.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Building inspector zoning report, Aaron? Board member.
I actually have some things I could probably,
There you go.
I actually sat down with John Cook before today to kind of give an update on this, and some, you know, Vicki will be able to kind of chime in because he's been working with Vicki and some of them. But the 1847 Perkiomenville Road, John did have some discussions with Vicki regards of different ways to try to address a very long and ongoing problem. And after discussions with Vicki, he's going to do a site visit and essentially come up with a list of violations currently. It's not like he hasn't visited it before, but come up with a current list and then kind of have a, you know, powwow session with Vicki again and try to see how we can get our hands around this and become much more aggressive when it comes to getting the property into compliance. I'm sorry, there's more. Okay, 1732 Becker Road. And for that one, and some of this, obviously I don't know as well as John does, but there was an issue with yard equipment and stuff sitting out, vehicles sitting out. And my understanding from John is a building permit was sent to LTL. LTL has approved but not issued the building permit, and that building permit would be to build a structure to provide a place for this lawn equipment, yard equipment, and the vehicle to be stored inside of. That's my understanding from John on that one. And then, let's see. For 2746 Yost Road, that was one where we started a dairy farm on the side of the hill. No permits, no nothing, just went at it. So the latest correspondence that we have with them is that the property owner had sent a survey in, because we had indicated you need to provide proof that the work that was done is actually on your own property. They provided a survey, but it really didn't have a boundary to it.
Right.
So we kind of got back to them and said, we need an as-built survey showing the property line, showing what you've done, and have not heard back from that. However, and I can't speak to the authenticity of it, but John had indicated from the property owner that they either have acquired or looking for property elsewhere, or looking to move everything to another property, I guess coming to the realization that the site is not appropriate for what they are doing and would like to do.
Yeah,
So-
she had stated that earlier whenever I spoke to her on the phone, but I heard from the neighbors since then. His biggest concern is the manure stacked around his wellhead,
Right.
which is a valid complaint, a valid concern. So I didn't know if John had a chance to look at that, so when you talked to him, just tell him that's still out there. And the other gentleman next to him is still calling about it, saying they're adding to it since the, they were gonna move, is what she essentially told me. I reached out to a gentleman in our community that I know is, able to handle farm animals and things like that. He just said basically it would be out of price range for that. So I don't know if she's come up with something since then or not, but I've been unable to reach them.
Okay. I will mention that to John tomorrow and ask him to look into that additional concern. Like I said, we can only repeat what we're being told, but it sounds like it's not the first time that we've heard that. So. Okay. And that is all I have at this point.
Planning Commission, Aaron, you wanna touch on that? I don't see anybody here.
Sure.
Oh, no, Paul's back here, I'm sorry, Mr. Chrisman.
All right, Paul Chrisman here. The planning commission, whenever, like Norm said, the Dick subdivision, we pushed that up the road to you guys. Frederick Living came through with some preliminary plans, sketch plans, last time we met, and then we're still working on like ordinances with the county, and we got a bunch of stuff in the fire. Elderly cottage discussions and preliminary plans for sewer discharge and et cetera, et cetera. We got a lot of stuff open. We're getting there though.
I got a book waiting on you to finish up. You know what I mean? Couple more things I got ready for you, but I
Thanks.
appreciate it,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Paul. Did Bob say anything about the Central Perkiomen Valley Regional Planning Commission?
No, I didn't go. I forgot about it, to be honest with you.
Dirty dog.
My bad. I could lie to you if you want.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, buddy. Parks and Rec, as far as I know, I'm so sorry, I'm
Tracy
sorry.
Harper, still.
I apologize.
Mainly we're continuing to work on Community Day, which is October 4th, that's right, not September, October 4th. And we're still soliciting sponsors, to pay for a little bit of it, that would be nice. And also inviting vendors to participate. We're also still looking for volunteers for Day of Help. So a good meeting to attend if you want to be helpful is next Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Be there, be square.
Thanks, Ms. Harper. All right, business for the board, new business. Approve revisions to the employee handbook. Let's see here. This here is a minor change regarding the carrying over of PTO time. This now also includes paternity leave that moves us into alignment with state regulations. Not to mention the addition of 2 holidays, Columbus Day and Veterans Day, which I was surprised Veterans Day wasn't already in there. Lastly was the changing of the COVID plan to more basic pandemic plan. This is essentially removing like masking, social distancing, and things like that to a more specific plan that just basically says, next pandemic comes out, you go by the CDC guidelines, is all that is. And then, update on Ivy Ridge discussion.
So, are you gonna approve the revisions
Oh,
tonight,
yeah.
or do you want more time to read them?
No.
No, I'd rather.
No, so I make a motion to approve the revisions to the employee handbook as advertised.
We'll not advertise,
Well,
but as
did you have-
presented.
As presented in the
Was there an
report.
addition that had to go in there?
Yes, but we can pick that up in the next round, you can
Okay.
approve it the way it is now.
All right. All right, you made a motion?
I did.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Us two again. Aye.
Good.
Then we got an Ivy Ridge update, discussion on profit and loss. Mr. Wallazer.
All right, from the previous meeting, we've been asked to get together the financials for Ivy Ridge. I'm going to be sharing a document on the website under the Ivy Ridge in the coming days. Those in the meeting can see a general look at it. It's quite small because there's quite a lot of information being presented here. The main line to pay attention to is the bottom line, and that's net income. And that'll show you if we are running, surplus or deficit each month over the last 13 months. And generally, the trend you'll see is that we flow between a deficit or a surplus almost on an every monthly basis. And what this means is the Ivy Ridge is basically the fees being charged right now are barely covering the expenses to operate the plant. And what this tells me is that we don't have any reserve at the plant, and I would suggest for the board, as they move forward in the budget process, to consider whether that the Ivy Ridge plant fee should also cover operating reserve. Usually this is historically in the 5 to 15% range, and this is for contingency purposes. That allows you to respond to emergencies that happen at there or equipment failure, so that we don't immediately go into a deficit if we do have any event that occurs at the Ivy Ridge plant.
I appreciate that, Mr. Wallheiser. Old business, so we're gonna consider a resolution for 2025-11 for the fiscal year 2025 budget to reflect the Ivy Ridge past expenditures correctly as recommended by the Township Treasurer. So I am gonna make a motion
Can I ask
to,
a question first? Is that relieving them of their debt?
this year, what it's doing is it's bringing the expenditure, it's essentially just bringing it to where it should have been, it's clarifying the books.
But we're
So
wiping
money's-
away the $44,000 debt. Is that what you're doing?
I think what I'm doing is I'm being asked by the treasurer to fix our books. that
Okay, well, they
basically
still
says-
owe us $44,000 after you make this resolution.
I don't think they, is,
So let me answer that question. Originally, when the plant had its issue in 2023, the Board of Supervisors charged a repair to a line item in Ivy Ridge that exceeded the budget for that line item by 4,100%. At the time they did this, they didn't make any budget reconciliations or move any funds to cover that expense. What our treasurer has been noticing, and it's something that gets caught in every one of our audits, is that we do have a deficit that runs in this. This operating transfer would be a transfer from the general fund to cover that operating deficit. In essence, that would do what you're saying, is that would.
So every resident, every household in this township is going to contribute $30+ to Ivy Ridge. Right now is what you're telling me, right?
It's more than that.
No, it's about $31 per household. If you divide the number of households by 44,000, you come out to be about $31, a little bit less than $31 a house.
And that could have been prevented.
like, could.
Doesn't matter if it was prevented or not, you're taking $30-some dollars
No, we're
from
correct.
every
We're correct-
residential house in this township.
We're correcting the books.
Okay, but